Hello and welcome to Who Are You? This is a Babylon 5 watchcast hosted by two former strangers, now friends, who have gotten to know each other while we were watching a favorite show from their childhood, Babylon 5. I'm Xhafer.
And I'm Laura, and this is a Crusade watchcast now.
Yep, we did it. We are on to Crusade. We've got 13 episodes of Crusade. We're watching it in JMS's recommended order, which is not anywhere close to air order, but also only 5 episodes aired, so that gets super fucky really quick.
Yeah.
But we are watching what is the first episode, regardless of order, I think. I think they all start with Warzone for probably pretty obvious reasons. This is really about getting the crew together and stuff, so.
Yeah, you can't not put this episode first, right?
Yeah. JMS hated this fucking episode.
Oh, really?
This episode was made entirely at the behest of TNT. He didn't want to make this episode. He didn't think it was necessary.
Okay.
Watch Call to Arms. We'll work the other characters in as they show up. We're good. Was kind of his thought.
I don't know if I buy that, actually. I might be on TNT's side here.
If it was just going to be The Long Road as the next episode, because spoilers, we're recording back-to-back today, so we've already watched and done our notes watch of the next episode.
Mm-hmm.
I would agree that that's a tough pilot.
Yeah, no.
But if we think back to Babylon 5,
sure,
it is along the lines of an episode like Midnight on the Firing Line.
I would argue it is not as good as Midnight on the Firing Line.
Oh, well, I'm not trying to say it's as good as Midnight on the Firing Line. I am defending 0 episodes of Crusade at this time. But
okay. Good.
It's more along the lines of that story that episode's trying to tell, where it's not. That episode very much starts in media res. This episode does not. So, yeah. And speaking of starting in media res, we start in media with ISN and a broadcast catch. Oh shit! No, we have to do an intro.
It's like
I just steamrolled past the cold open because I saw my segue.
It was a really good opening, but I was like, wait, were we going to do that now? Or, I mean, we can just do episode now if you want. Then we can start them.
We have new questions for our new series because this show asks a handful of questions in its introduction, some of which, as an audience, I know we're familiar with. Who are you? What do you want? Kind of our thing here. So, but they ask 2 more questions that we're going to ask ourselves, and we're going to ask the guests that we've got lined up coming down the pipeline for Crusade here, which is, where are you going? Whom do you serve? And whom do you trust?
These could get really deep really fast. Where are you going? Maybe not as much, but the other 2, it's like, whoa.
Yeah. But we're not starting there. We're starting with, where are you going? So, Laura, I have to ask, where are you going?
Well, the obvious answer is that we're going to Star Trek Las Vegas soon, right? Because we've been talking about that only for the whole year, right?
Right. We're both very excited. It's looking like most of the pod fam is going to be there. Very excited to get to hang out with everyone all together.
Too. In person.
I'm so excited for you to get to hang out with Ben and Glorianne in person.
I really am. You and Beth are great, but I haven't met them yet. And just working with Glow on the last few episodes of Cool Girls, I am ready for a hang. I need this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you 3 should go off and find some explosions to not look at and get some photos.
Exactly.
It's Vegas. There has to be an explosion somewhere you can not look at.
On that big, the sphere, right? Somebody ought to do explosions on that, surely.
Right. Yeah. That'll happen, probably.
Yeah. But the not obvious answer to this question is, I'm going on a trip that I don't think I've gotten to tell you about yet.
No, this is news.
Yeah. So part of going back to school, I'm going to start the PhD program on August 19th. Some of my funding comes from KPMG's PhD project, and they let me know that I am invited to a conference that KPMG pays for. Yeah. So I have to pay a few things, but the flight, hotel, conference fees, that's all covered.
Oh, wow.
So that actually is happening August 10th is the first day.
So right after we get back from Vegas.
Literally, yes. Like August 10th through 14th, I'm going to be in Washington, D.C. for the American Accounting Association conference.
That's so cool.
I'm really excited. I haven't been to D.C. in a long time. I was a teenager.
I have a million things to recommend.
Yay!
I spent a month in DC for work.
Yeah.
Like just living in the city. Yeah, it's a great town.
This is like downtown, I think. So it's over 2 hotels. Like it's at like the Marriott and the Westin or something. And my cousin who lives in DC was telling me it is pretty close to like the White House and all that stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense. You'd need more space. You'd need more hotels because DC has very specific rules about how tall buildings can be.
Yeah, that makes sense. I could
No-
see that. You know, cities
Yeah.
that have a reputation to maintain need to have standards. I get it.
Yeah, nothing's allowed to be taller than the Capitol building on top of Capitol Hill.
Ah, yeah,
That's
that makes
the rule.
sense.
And so if you're close, you only have 4 or 5 stories to work with.
Okay. Yeah. And, you know, I guess it's a pretty big conference. I was looking at the schedule booklet. Like, it is crazy.
Yeah.
But the first 2 days I spend with KPMG's PhD project students. Like, we spend it all together. And then we're free for the rest of the conference. But I did have to, like, sign a thing saying, yes, I'm going to attend the conference and I'm not just going to go sightseeing all day.
Yeah.
So KPMG's clearly been burned by somebody in the past.
Yeah. You'll have some time, I'm sure, though. There's stuff that doesn't close in DC.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll get to
So-
go walk around a little bit. It's just going to be pretty hot, I imagine, just like it is
Yeah.
here. So I'll be going from the surface of the sun to maybe like the surface of Mercury.
Yeah, that's hotter. It's hot. It's so hot.
It's
still.
all hot. It's all horrible.
so hot. Yeah. It's ugh. Anyways, that's so exciting. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I'm super excited. So
Yeah. That's going to be a blast. I'm going to ask you a really nerdy question.
I love a really nerdy question. This is a Babylon 5 podcast, Xhafer.
Yeah. You're going to an accounting conference.
Indeed.
Are there any guest speakers that you're particularly looking forward to?
Well, I don't really like know the academia accounting stuff yet. You know what I mean? Like there's a couple of papers that I've read that I'm like, oh, it'd be super cool if this author was there so I could like ask them about this paper, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like huge. And I don't have my feet under me at all. I can't believe they're sending me to a conference before I've actually started my program.
Yeah.
But it'll be a great learning experience.
Yeah. No, that's super cool. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Well,
How do we segue that?
yeah, I had such a good one before. I don't even know anymore. Yeah, I don't know. It's an episode. We have an episode of Babylon 5 Crusade to talk about. Season 1, Episode 1, Warzone. I guess I don't have to specify Season 1.
Yeah. It's just Crusade. Like
It's
in
just
all of my
Crusade.
notes, I have like, you know, kept the season number,
Oh,
episode
yeah, same.
number, title. And on Crusade, it's just Crusade.
Crusade.
Warzone.
Episode 1. Yep. Same.
Yeah.
Even in the big spreadsheet where I track everything, it doesn't have Season 1. It just says Crusade.
I'm not even putting episode numbers on mine because it's like they're not like it's our episode 1, but do
Yeah.
other people consider it? Well, this one they obviously should. Like,
I'm gonna be saying the episode numbers per what I see them on DVDs and streaming services because that tends to be aligned. Everything seems to be in the same DVD release order,
okay,
and so I'm gonna be calling out what episodes they are in that order for the benefit of anyone who's trying to watch along at home with us.
sure.
So if like at the end of episode 2, I'm gonna be like, hey, and next up we have episode 8. You didn't miss something. We're just jumping around to follow JMS's chosen true order to watch Crusade in.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on. Speaking of what's going on, that's what we start with. A bit of a recap. We start in media, found it. As ISN broadcast is catching us up on the battle at the end of Call to Arms and the release of the Drakh Plague over Earth.
I'm pretty sure that Gary Cole, Matthew Gideon, as we find out, he's giving
Yeah.
us the voiceover, right? I think it's the same voiceover that Sheridan did at the end of Call to Arms.
Is it?
It's just like the same speech, but he's doing it this time. I'm like 90% sure. Maybe that's not true, but
Just have him re-record that shit so you don't have to pay Bruce again.
yeah.
Classic network shenanigans. After this ISN broadcast, we see Daniel Day Kim.
Yeah. What a
who
get.
has had a super successful career after this.
You almost said super sexy career. I saw it.
Yeah, I'm not wrong. I'm thinking of that comment about his cheekbones from the Discord, and just it's in there. He's Lieutenant Matheson, dealing with a possible mutiny of some Martians on their Explorer class ship, who are refusing to go to Earth.
Yeah, they're like fist fighting this out. Like, we do not want to go to Earth. It is full of germs. That's fair.
Yeah. Should be making people go to Earth right now. The number of humans not on Earth is limited. That is a resource you must preserve.
Exactly. Yeah. But Matheson can't quite break them up. Perhaps they don't fully trust Matheson for some reason. And then Matthew Gideon comes in, also known as Lumberg from Office Space, and breaks it up for real. Gets everybody in line.
Yeah. I looked into his career because Beth and I were just hanging out on the couch yesterday, lounging, watching some YouTube like we like to do sometimes. And she put on Media Sins for Dodgeball. And I totally forgot that he was one of the announcers in Dodgeball.
Was he really?
Yeah.
I bet that's good, though. I bet that's fun.
Yeah, it was fun. And it was very timely, given, I watched the show. I had watched episode 1 at that point already, and I was about to watch episode 2. So it was fun to see that. And then I did a little deep dive into his career. I forgot that he was VP Bob Russell in The West Wing.
Oh, I didn't watch West Wing. I'm such a loser.
It's so good.
Maybe I'll last time on it someday.
Oh, that'd be good. Yeah. You'll have to trade away Beth if you want to do it on Cool Girls or something, but we'll figure it out. But yeah, he was an American Gothic. We already said Office Space. I didn't realize he's the voice of Harvey Birdman, attorney at law.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
I love Harvey Birdman, attorney at law. It cracks me up.
I never get that thing you send me. I've never gotten that thing you sent me, and I'm beginning to wonder whether you ever once sent me anything.
Yeah. Yep, that's our boy. That's Gary Cole. He's in Veep. He's in like seasons of NCIS. He has 205 acting credits.
Wow. He's that guy.
He is such a that guy. How many do you think our boy Bruce has? Because I checked, because I wanted to know how they stood up.
Oh, I'm going to go with 100.
140.
Okay. I was a little low, but yeah, still. Wow.
And he's got a ton of series regular stuff in movies. It's not just one-off TV shows.
Is it because Bruce is so like distinctive that you have to have a role for Bruce, whereas Gary Cole, you can just kind of slot him in sometimes? Whatever. Yeah.
So a lot of Gary Cole stuff, especially in the last 15 years, is voice acting.
That's fair. Sure.
Besides just Harvey Birdman, he's been Commissioner Gordon in a bunch of stuff. He's been the Spectre in a number of DC animated films. Just all kinds of like random odds and ends.
He's doing the Mark Hamill. Yeah.
Yeah. So good for him. He is all like, fine, I'll fight you for the ship to this mutineer. Takes him out.
I like that energy. Like, I want to bring that into my work. Sure. I'll fight you for it. Yeah. So they go jump to Earth space, and it's full of space debris to the theme. And at this point, I wrote down, "This is the theme?" ?
So, I have a little, like, so I'm watching like these weird AI HD remasters of the show, right? Because it's what I have access to.
Sure.
And so I'm like, oh, maybe the AI fucked with the theme, right?
No.
So then I go and I watch the second episode and it's the same. And I'm like, I don't think that would have happened, but maybe it's the whole series and it just got messed up somehow. So then I went on YouTube and then I watched the theme there a third time. and it was still the same shit. And I'm just like, what is this music?
Yeah. It's
It's
not
bad.
good. I turned to Aaron after watching our second episode today, and I was like, do you think the music killed this show? Because it's just so not good. It's not sci-fi enough for me. It's like, you think about Star Trek. You think about earlier Babylon 5. The music really enhances the moments.
Yeah.
This music takes away from the moments. Like, not just
Yeah.
the theme, but the music in the shows. The first 2 episodes so far has been
It's miserable.
major disappointment.
It's like somebody gave Moby a lobotomy and asked him to write elevator music.
Yeah.
It's
What?
real bad.
I'm hoping TNT picked this guy or whatever and not JMS.
I didn't
but
even check, and I know it's not Kristoff.
It's not, yeah. Is it the same guy as Call to Arms? Because that would make sense to, like, give him the movie because you're giving him the show. But I didn't like Call to Arms much either.
Yeah. It's bad. Also, while we're talking about this theme, this is the same font from the "you wouldn't download a car" ads of our youth.
Okay. Fonts in this show is going to be a thing. Because episode 2, I got something to say.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought to myself X-Files, but you're right, you wouldn't download a car. It's that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gideon regrets not getting the ship to Earth quick enough in his Explorer-class ship, which, hey, this doesn't have any spinning bits. How do they have artificial gravity?
Oh, good point. That's been well established.
Yeah, we've seen people on these ships, and they don't have artificial gravity.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, and we haven't been with the Alliance long enough to, like,
have rolled it out.
Minbari technology it, you know?
Even if that is the case, these are the ships that, like, go out for years at a time.
Right. They've been out for a bit.
Yeah, they're the ships that don't get these upgrades. Anyways,
Okay.
they've been called to Mars, presumably because of the mutineer is the vibe that's offered initially.
Oh, yeah, he's got, like, an important daddy or something,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Yeah, right. Fucking Nepo babies.
Exactly.
I got things to say about Nepo babies in this show, too.
Yay! This is going to be a great episode.
Galen has to just, like, show up, though, to remind us that he's going to be Arkosh, so he can get a little "and so it begins."
I am enjoying the actor. Is it Peter Woodward? Is that Galen's
That sounds right. Yeah.
actor? I'm enjoying everything he says. Like, I wish he was a little more, like, distinctive. I feel like everything in the show is just not distinctive enough for me,
Okay.
if that makes sense. Like, all of the backgrounds are kind of fading the same, and all of the people have the same outfit, haircut, height. I don't know. It's just like, it's not different enough for me yet. And I wish he was a little more distinctive, but I am enjoying his voice. Galen's voice is great.
After this, we cut over to an Earth Force destroyer that is attacking a Drakh ship and forces it to crash into SETI 4.
This is SETI Alpha 5!
We find the Martian summons was so he could set a course for exposition instead of exploration.
Yeah.
Because they talk a bunch. Yeah, right. Okay. I got jokes. The senator and the rando explain that everything to us again. This is like the second time this episode that we get the entire plot explained to us.
Well, we've had it explained to us, Xhafer, but somebody needs to explain it to Gideon.
Because that's how plots work. The characters need to know that they're in them.
Exactly.
But they give him the mission and the Excalibur. Over on SETI 4, the flyover shuttle gets blown up by Drakh on the ground. We see in interplanetary expeditions, archaeologists make a plan to avoid the hostile aliens. We'll get to know this guy. On Mars, they have a bunch of very field-specific experts. And Durana.
Darina.
Darina. Gideon sets up a meeting with Darina after going and talking to all of the scientists. And they casually drop that Daniel Day Kim is a teep in this scene as well.
Yeah, that's when I was like, oh, this could be really interesting.
Yeah.
I hope it is.
But the general is all like, oh, she's in the Thieves Guild. You can't bring her. And he's all like, what are you fucking talking about? I need a fucking rogue for this party. Have you seen our balance?
Yeah.
It is bad. We're going to have a sorcerer. We're going to have a rogue. You're going to have to deal with it.
Yeah, we already got past this in Call to Arms. Where were you, guy?
Right. Made these choices already. They board the Excalibur, and Darina kind of tells us she's hanging with a technomage without telling us she's hanging with a technomage, and it doesn't reference it when he actually shows up at all.
Yeah.
Like, it's so implied that they came together, and we get nothing of it in this episode or the next.
Well, maybe that's just the rogue thing, you know? Like, don't sell out your buddies completely. Like, leave a little
Fair enough.
mystery. Yeah. Did you notice they
Yeah.
changed her loaf? Darina's loaf is different from Call to Arms.
I didn't notice.
Sorry, I should explain the reference loaf just in case we have non-friends of DeSoto here. The reference to loaf is like face prosthetics for aliens.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We've
they
said it a
changed
bunch
hers.
on this show.
They dialed hers back from Call to Arms, like, you know, kind of smoothed out some of her forehead stuff. And it's a real Delenn moment. They like, but oh, maybe we unprettied her too much. Let's make her prettier again.
I mean, it's a win for the actress, which I
Yes.
will celebrate.
Sure. Yeah. Less
'Cause
time in
it's
the
less
makeup.
time in the makeup chair. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Our pilot over on City Alpha 4 asks co-pilot for help. And it's nice to know it still is useless 250 years in the future.
Yeah. All of these AI co-pilot things, just
Yeah.
amazing. Just amazing.
They've got some. There's a couple of uses for one of them, in my opinion.
Right.
And it's probably not the one you're thinking if I've got specific uses for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you noticed that about this interplanetary expeditions party, we have like the sensible captain that's the like lead archaeologist, I think. You know, he's being very sensible. We have the 90s bad boy pilot, of course.
yeah. Of course.
And then we have like one contrarian woman. I was like, oh, look, it's all the whole playbook's there.
Man. So after this, we're back on the bridge, and we're told we have 4 hours and 20 minutes to our destination.
Nice.
And 30 seconds later, we hear that there's trouble in sector 85 by 4 by 20.
Nice.
This is just lazy writing. You can't use the same number so close in different contexts right after each other. Maybe it's just my pattern brain.
No, I
But-
agree. This number should have obviously been by 69. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. TNT exec set this number. It's like, look, we don't feel your show is appealing enough to high schoolers who like making stupid jokes. So we're going to need you to change the sector number to 69 by 4 by 20. Nice.
Nice.
See, we are the Dick and Fart Joke Babylon 5 podcast still. No worries there, audience. If you were worried that our humor would suddenly elevate for some reason when watching Crusade,
Let's just
Threat not.
disabuse you of that right now. Yeah, take that, Gray 17.
anyways, they go to the downed Drakh ship, and Galen makes his presence known here to Gideon. He like talks to him after the call's done.
You remember how we had trouble with like Sheridan Sinclair? I have a feeling I'm going to have a very difficult time with Gideon Galen.
It's so dumb that their names are so close.
Yeah, yeah. Also that Matthew Gideon and John Matheson. I'm like, come on. You sound like me when I was trying to write stuff in high school.
Like, is this racist? But how do you look at Daniel Day Kim and name him John Matheson?
Well, this
Like,
is back when
truly.
This was back when we were still having to like whitewash everybody of color, right? To make them a little more palatable to America, perhaps.
Oh, is that okay? That checks
I
out.
think that's
Yeah.
part of it. I think that's
Ugh.
some of it. Yeah. Not JMS's fault. This is like America's fault.
I mean, famously, anything bad with Crusade is not JMS's fault per JMS. So,
Okay.
it's all TNT's fault.
I mean, he did have like Senator Hidoshi. He had like
Yeah. We've
yeah.
had some multicultural names in this show.
Right.
Not as many as I would have liked, given the amount of multicultural characters we've had on this show.
Sure.
But still.
Again, product of the
I
times.
mean, I will 100% accept TNT fucked with this show. Because at this very same time, TNT was fucking with WCW so hard they just made a documentary about it. So,
yeah.
I mean... Anyways, Star Furies take care of a bunch of Drakh on the ground, but more are in hyperspace. As the civvies are hiding out, Gideon goes down and gives the archaeologist his terms for their rescue.
Yeah. Interesting choice.
He said he was going to piss a lot of people off, but he'd get the job done.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. Yeah, I know a lot of assholes who think like that. They end up not getting the job done anyways.
Yeah, for real. For sure.
They go to the downed Drakh ship and fight off some of Rita Repulsa's putties. Darina is setting them up the bomb here, and the Drakh reinforcements jump into orbit.
We've had the Drakh soldiers on the ground. Yes.
Yeah, they already got a bunch of them got blown up.
One thing I did like about the costume choices for the Drakh is they're wearing a lot of high-waisted harem pants, and I feel like that's a look, and I like it.
Yeah.
And collars,
KFPs.
yes.
Collars and skull masks are so in this season.
So hot right now.
And that's how we transitioned to a fashion podcast.
Crusade fashion casting. There's a weird space battle that we have a sparse musical score. Again, I noted.
Not only is it a sparse music, it's like the music itself is sparse. There's no dialogue. There's no sound effects.
Yeah.
It is just this sparse musical score. And I hated every second of this.
Is this we're trying to be different than other sci-fi shows right now? Because in the 90s, we don't do this. We have the talking during the battle, the orders being given. We have the exciting music. And so we're like trying to be edgy and different, I guess, perhaps.
I will take fucking Legend of the Rangers shitty VR over this no sound effect stuff. Call me a purist, but I like pew-pews with my pew-pews.
Amen, brother. Yeah.
I am a simple man. I require few things in life to be happy. Whiskey, security blankets, and pew-pews. That's it. I got those three things. I'm going to make it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the truth. So the Excalibur wins.
Yeah, of course.
Rescues the IPX crew who captured a Drakh.
Yeah.
Very interesting. The Drakh speaks to the archaeologist, and this archaeologist, I guess, is also like archaeological linguist. And he's like getting it. This Drakh refuses to answer any questions as a prisoner of war, and then just turns around and sasses Gideon's ass in English.
Right. It's important information to know that they know English, but also I loved it.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think he's one of those aliens that just like synthesized it really quick from being around them, or have they been sitting around like with Duolingo getting their points?
Yeah, they're definitely getting their Duolingo streak is high, the Drakh.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay.
Gideon signs our two mains from the archaeology crew to his mission, and we learned Galen saved Gideon's life as the Technomages were leaving the galaxy. Or whatever, to the edge of the galaxy, wherever the fuck they went.
Yeah, I guess Gideon's ship exploded or something, and he's sitting there in his spacesuit just like lost and dying. Oh, and like the whole fleet or whatever is leaving him. Like you see ships just, they have no idea he's there. Very scary, lonely space moment. And he gets picked up by Galen.
Mm-hmm. And so Gideon puts this all together and sets course for that location. We cut over to Dr. Chambers, who has been a background character this entire episode and said fucking nothing. There was a little bit about wanting to go to Earth and not wanting to leave her sister behind.
Yeah. Yeah. Her sister has kids, maybe? Like she has a little niece or something? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she got a niece. Galen meets Gideon at a campfire and repeats the opening.
This is the call to arms Stonehenge, right? Is this the same set or maybe not?
It might be... I don't remember any really big stony hengey stuff, but this is definitely like a little campfire. Yeah.
I don't know that there was actually Stonehenge in Call to Arms Stonehenge. It just reminded me of that because we're all sorcerers sitting around in our druid robes and hoods.
Ooh, I put on my wizard robe and hat.
Yeah.
Like...
Now I just want to go to Stonehenge in a wizard robe and a hat. No one's ever done that before, right?
Never happened. No one in the history of British humor would have found that amusing.
I really gave myself away there, didn't I?
Galen repeats the opening to Gideon as he totally agrees to come on their journey.
Definitely not because he's been kicked out of the Techno Mage Club. That didn't happen.
No, not yet. No.
Definitely, probably not.
And that's our episode.
Yeah. Let me see how many pages I've got of these notes that definitely I could follow really super well. 4 pages. 4 pages of notes. Very detailed.
Yeah, I've got 3.5.
Yeah.
And I normally average 5 for an episode, listener, regardless of what it is. If it's a 45-minute TV show, 5 notes a pages. Doesn't fail.
Yeah.
I don't even know what scale we should be using.
Oh, good question.
We've got to say how we feel about this episode. I feel like if we rate it on the Babylon scale, nothing's going to go well for this show.
Sure. Yeah.
We could give it 1 out of 2 destroyed prototype destroyers.
That's sort of like the Yum Yum scale. Is it yum or is it yum yum?
Yum yum. Oh, I don't want to step on their toes. We could say it is 1 through 4 of the main guns firing. How many of the main guns of the Crusade or of the Excalibur are firing? We can use that to rate an episode.
Yeah, okay. That might be a little better. Because that's the thing is like, I think the more like nuance you add to the scale, the worse it's going to get. Like
for sure.
The Yum Yum scale might actually be more favorable to this show than any other scale.
Yeah. I mean, I will warn you, with Battlestar Galactica, we will be rating on a scale of 1 to 12 colonies. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Or maybe we could do it on 1 to however many survivors there are listed at the beginning of that episode. It'll make sense when you watch your first one. It tells you how many humans are left alive at the beginning of every episode.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
I had no idea things were so dire. I trust Ronald D. Moore, though. If I have to do on a scale of 12, like I think we can work with that.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be okay. I don't think Crusade needs a 1 to 12 scale.
No. Crusade doesn't deserve a 1 to 12 scale.
Yeah. Well, if we go with the main guns, how many times did the main gun fire for you in this episode?
I would say out of the 4 main guns, I saw 1 charging up a bit.
Yeah. I was going to be generous and give this 2.
It's an episode. Mm-hmm. It's honestly, it's not even that it's bad.
Right.
I mean, because it's not good. Mm-hmm. It's so aggressively mediocre and uninteresting.
It's beige. Everything is beige for me.
100%. This is the least interested I've been in anything. Like, even like Legend of the Rangers is bad. Like, you can watch it and groan and you're feeling something. In this is the equivalent of, oh God, I don't know, like depression. It's just, there's nothing going on here. It's so blah the entire time.
The most interesting thing is when the Drakh just opens up with sassy English.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay, finally something happened.
Right? Oh, Daniel Takim's a telepath. That's cool. Literally only referenced in the terms of it being maybe a problem and does not factor in at all.
And I'm not sure if in that fight in the beginning, if that factored in, but you should see some sort of racism there in that fight too, right? Not just like, we don't want to go to Earth, but also like, I'm not listening to you, you dirty telepath or whatever. But I don't know if we got that. I don't know.
We didn't. No. Yeah. It's so blah.
Yeah. Crusade starts with kind of a shrug.
Yeah. A shrug might even be overselling it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. We'll see if we get the main guns to ever charge all the way up.
Well, we'll have a chance next week when we're watching Crusade Episode 2, The Long Road. Gideon mediates between Earth miners and the residents of a planet containing a virus-fighting mineral and a fire-breathing dragon. I saw this description and I'm just like, let's fucking go. How did this show get canceled? I read that description and I'm all like, how did this show not be a success when that's an episode description?
Well, we'll find out next week, won't we?
We sure will.
But before that, we have some thank yous to say. Xhafer, do you want to kick those off?
Of course, I'd love to. Jeremy Siegel, composer of our fantastic theme music. Thank you so much, Jeremy. Saw you had a big show down in Jacksonville the other day with the Savants. Congrats. Looks fun. Wish I was in the area. I'd totally go.
Same.
Thanks for composing our theme music. You can find more of Jeremy's work at jeremysiegel42.bandcamp.com, where he is the only Jeremy Siegel that composes music. Hard stance. And on your favorite streaming services is Nuclear Jaguar.
And thank you to Angry Deck Time Machine on Instagram for our podcast artwork.
Hey, Aaron, we gave you an easy one this week.
Yeah, sure.
Not true, actually.
Yeah, there's just some big chunks that gotta go. That's fine.
Yeah.
It'll be okay.
It's a short episode for sure.
Yeah. Thanks for your hard work with editing this podcast.
Appreciate it.
And thank you to you, the listener, for being here with us and journeying through Crusade. I hope that you're enjoying this time and that if you're not watching the episodes, that you're enjoying your time not watching the episodes.
All right. Well, we'll see you next week, Internet.
Bye.
Because it's 420. It's the
420,
weed
yeah.
smoking number. Yeah.
I'm so used to the sex number that I forgot about the weed number.